I'm thrilled. All right, we bookend with people we think may be lying.
Yeah.
They are performers after all.
Hello, welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her little brother, William.
And this week we are going back to Celebrity Ghost Stories, the A&E juggernaut, at least in our world.
Oh, yeah. Nothing bigger.
Oh, huge.
Gather the kids.
Yeah.
It's on.
That's right. It's time to watch Morgan Fairchild talk about her ghost.
Oh, wow.
Who's another weird person? I'm just thinking of people that we've covered in the past. Bret Michaels.
Yeah, not Chaz Bono.
Probably Chaz Bono.
Probably Chaz Bono. Who played Chachi?
Oh, Scott Baio.
Scott Baio.
Yeah.
What's he been up to? Nothing good?
Yeah, nothing good for sure.
Yeah.
It's great.
We've done Celebrity Ghost Stories a good handful of times. I was shocked by this.
Mm-hmm.
The last time that we did Celebrity Ghost Stories was episode 354.
Yeah.
Way back in August
Yeah.
of last year. It's been like more than half a year since we've done this. That's shocking.
We can't go for that long.
Shocking. I know. I've felt the withdrawal.
Yeah.
It's been painful.
As soon as I saw Reginald VelJohnson talking about a ghost, I was like, powered back up.
It's like a salve.
Yeah.
A balm.
Yes.
And finally you are whole
This
again.
is what we needed.
Before we really get into it, I will tell you that I watched 2 full segments and took notes and then just kept watching stuff.
Yeah.
And so I have 2 runoff stories that are very short, but I think exemplify like
The spirit.
no.
Okay. Okay.
2 of my celebrities had like heartfelt ghost stories, you know?
Mine are kind of heartfelt.
Yeah. I think I wanted to see, like, can I just get a spooky ghost?
Yeah.
And then when I saw someone talking about a spooky ghost, I was like, why does this feel so like stunted next to some of these celebrities who've had very emotional experiences?
Yeah.
Well, perhaps we'll get into it.
Huh, okay.
It was interesting. One of them felt very immature, and one of them I'm pretty confident was a full lie.
What was I'm pretty suspicious of one of mine.
Okay.
What was the age of the person telling your immature story?
He is today 34.
Oh, okay. So he was kind of a child telling the story. So that could be why.
I think he was in his early 20s when his episode of Celebrity Ghost Stories was recorded.
So he was immature. His brain wasn't baked.
And he's got like a shit past. He's like
Who was this?
Nick Hogan,
Oh, boy. Okay.
Terry Hogan's boy.
Yeah. Okay.
Terry Hulk Hogan, who can't even rip a shirt anymore. Remember that?
No.
How the mighty have fallen.
How do you know that? What do
He
you
tried
mean?
to rip a shirt at the RNC and it didn't.
That's horrible.
It took so long.
That's horrible. I did not know that.
If your thing is ripping shirts,
You want
to make sure you can rip that shirt or stop doing it.
practice it beforehand.
I really like
guess-
this shirt, brother. I'm not gonna.
I guess he was just so
I
sure.
can't rip this one open, but
Ooh.
it's not because of my muscles. It's because I like it.
That's tough.
It was rough.
I would like to hear the one that you think is a lie first.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. All right, we're going to do a commercial and then come back with a celebrity ghost story that may be a lie.
All right.
do tell.
May I just say
Yes,
before we get
yes.
into the celebrity ghost stories, I'm
Yes.
sorry, it's the last time that I'm going to bring it up, but it's sort of the season finale of this.
Yeah.
I have a book called Survive the Night. It is a coloring book, but it's a graphic novel. So it's like reading a comic that you can color in yourself.
Yeah.
But it's also a choose your own adventure story. And it's also a slasher.
Yeah, it's super cool. People are getting theirs. We have a Facebook group. It's if you go on Facebook and you search Guides to the Unknown Secret Society, you can join it. And people are posting theirs there.
Yeah.
It's really awesome.
It's very fun. There are a lot of like slasher references. If you know me, if you know Guide to the Unknown, I think you'll get a lot of sort of like the vibe of it. It stars a character named Kristen. I wonder why.
Yep.
Here's a picture of Kristen dead.
Oh, no.
Anyway, go check it out, everybody. I'm going to have links in the show notes. You can get it directly through Simon & Schuster or the publisher Inside Editions. It's at like Books A Million. It's at Barnes & Noble. And I think it's at some Targets and Walmarts. But you can just go in and make that the one thing you buy from Target and Walmart. And even shout out like, I only need Survive the Night.
Only this and then leaving.
I'm out.
Yeah.
So go check it out. Survive the Night, everybody. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Hope everybody who gets it enjoys it. And all winners of our giveaway have been notified.
Yes.
So those will hopefully be reaching you any moment now,
Yes.
within a few days.
Thank you for entering. It's so cool.
Thank you all. Enjoy Survive the Night. All right.
All right.
So here's the I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
Here's the liar.
Great.
What do you know about Joey Lawrence?
Oh, I thought you said Nick Hogan was the liar.
No, he's the immature one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, the one that I'm pretty sure is just a full-on lie.
Okay. What do I know about Joey Lawrence? I had a huge crush on Joey Lawrence.
Everyone did.
Yeah, when he was on Blossom.
Yeah.
And now I know he has a podcast with his brothers.
It's called Brotherly Love.
Yep. And besides that, I don't want to say what else I know about him.
Why?
It's not nice.
Not nice.
He looks weird to me now. That's all.
I think it must be hard
Yes.
to have been a 90s teen heartthrob and
I
in
totally think
particular to be known for your head of hair.
Oh, it's not even that.
No?
Honestly, I wouldn't even said that out loud if it weren't for the fact that I know that tons of people think he's super hot. So I don't feel like I'm punching down for me to say that I think he looks weird now.
Yeah.
He got really, really buff. I think he's had work done and stuff. And it's not for me. So the contrast of the Joey that I knew, look, what, 35 years ago?
Yeah.
He doesn't look like that anymore, which is perfectly normal.
It's normal, yeah.
That's basically what I think of when I think of Joey Lawrence.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say that I know this for a fact.
Yeah.
I have reason to believe that he's a goddamn liar. I just don't think that this story happened. Or if it happened...
I think he's doing fine out there.
Is he? Okay.
I really do. I think his podcast is a hit. And I think he's doing fine.
If this story happened, 10% of it happened.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I like doing celebrity ghost stories because I like talking about ghosts. And it's very funny that there's a show all about celebrities who've claimed to have encountered ghosts.
It's awesome to hear like pretty much any ghost story and then be like, and it's Joey Lawrence who's telling
Joey
us
Lawrence.
It's like, oh,
Yes.
okay.
Now, some of them, because like, you know, if I get to some of my like more heartfelt ones later, it's like rooted in who this person is from like their childhood and their experiences. Joey Lawrence is just kind of like, so I was on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm in. Because
Yeah.
it's not like when I was young, I had a great relationship with my mom.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, it's going to be very heartfelt and that's wonderful. But I kind of wanted to get a flavor of somebody who's just like, I saw a spooky phantom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was like, I'm now on the touring company with Dancing with the Stars. And so we're touring around the country, you know, so many dates, 48 dates. We're 24 weeks into this 48-week thing. And, and like his entire vibe is phony baloney man from the jump. And I'll also say this, as a father myself, he's like, and you know, my wife and my daughter are with me. And so, you know, I'm lugging in all the bags. You know, the kid's 6 months old. Of course, she's got like 8 bags of stuff. And so I'm lugging all the, you know, the bouncers and all the thing. And I was just like, I for whatever reason, I'm not believing anything you're saying to me.
Yeah. Something was
Like,
just.
I don't.
Because that's also a thing.
Something feels off. Something's fishy.
Yes,
I don't
that's
think that
also
you're
my
carrying
kind of-
all the bags.
My impression of him is there's just something off, like
Something's-
inauthentic or something.
Yeah, something's amiss. And
Because there's a podcaster I love named Danny Pellegrino who listens to Brotherly Love. Kind of like jokingly, but he's also kind of gotten invested in it. So I do hear about them from time to time, and they're just something a little off-putting.
Yeah, I think, you know, God love them. They're
Look, is this not brotherly love? What we're doing right here?
Absolutely.
Our podcast.
We're siblings. But I would also say then that we sort of have a little skin in the game, or some perspective on we didn't call our show like Sibling Rivalry and like the cover art's not us like putting up our dukes. It's just like,
Kate Hudson and her brother have a podcast called Sibling Revelry.
what does that mean?
They're celebrating their siblinghood. And they have siblings on. What if we could go on Sibling Revelry?
I guess we could.
They must be running out of siblings.
Are they?
I don't know. How many famous siblings could they be talking to?
I don't know, but we're not famous.
No, I know, but they're going to run out and they're going to have to start going down the tiers.
Does anyone have a sibling?
Maybe in like 10 years.
Attention listeners, does anyone have a sibling?
Maybe they're going to start running out.
Maybe.
And we can get on Sibling Revelry.
But that's the dream.
If I could talk to Kate Hudson on Sibling Revelry,
What would you say?
you're famous.
You're
And I'm wowed
You're
by,
famous.
and I'm wowed by that.
You're hearing the words I say. Whoa,
basically what
we're
it boils down.
interacting.
That's basically what it boils down
Kind
to.
of.
I like Kate Hudson.
Okay. That's nice.
I'm aware of her brother Oliver Hudson. Okay, all right.
So Joey Lawrence, even the way he talks about the toys, he's like, so, we go into this hotel, big, beautiful hotel, and we get up to the room and we're laying out all my daughter's toys. Here's this thing and that, anything with bells and whistles,
All right, so
anything that can, keep her occupied for a little while. And I'm like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you carried any of your bags.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that you set them up in the room. I don't believe, I don't know.
Was he laying on the humble too thick is kind of what you're saying?
Humble pie. This dude, you wouldn't know it to look at his guns, but you'd think that all he eats is humble pie.
Right.
By the way, I don't know that he's that buff.
Oh, okay.
But maybe,
Yeah.
maybe that's because all he eats is humble pie. I don't know. So he starts telling this ghost story, which is fairly basic. I can't oversell it, but it's like, more smoke of a potential lie. He's like, all of a sudden we're sleeping and we hear a sound. And then in the reenactments, all the kids' toys start lighting up. It's like Poltergeist. And he's like, so we thought that was kind of weird and get back to bed. And by gum, it happens again. And then basically the kids' toys just keep going off. And then at one point, the story goes a little further where he's like, so I start investigating the hotel room and going around and looking at stuff. And he goes, I didn't tell my wife any of this, but like, I was really trying to get to the bottom of what's going on here. And I'm like, him saying the phrase, I didn't tell my wife any of this, is because when this airs and his wife goes, that's not what happened.
Right.
He can turn around and go, well, I even say there, I didn't tell you that I did this, but I fought a ghost. I just don't believe it.
He's covering his booty.
And then it doesn't matter. He goes, I wrote down here, this is my imitation of him. It's so cute having a baby infant and enjoying her toys and all the sound they make. And it's good, and I like it. Like, he just, nothing that he said made sense.
So he's just really laying on dad guy?
Good guy, dad guy. And he's got a Bagans quality to him where some of the sentence structures that he say just literally don't make sense at all.
Yeah.
So he ends up in the morning, they're going to leave, and then this old man bellhop is like, I'm not surprised you had experience in our hotel.
Yeah.
And tells Joey Lawrence the story. And Joey Lawrence describes it this way, that a long time ago, there was a wedding. And the man and his bride, something horrible happened. Here's the quote of his weird phraseology. He decided to rid himself of his bride that he wanted no parts of.
That is really weird.
He decided to take matters into his own hand.
That is really Bagansy. You're absolutely right.
It's so Bagansy.
He decided to rid himself of his bride that he wanted no parts of.
No
it was parts, right?
of. Yeah.
And then he decided to take, what was it?
Matters into his own hand.
He reversed the
plurality.
Yes.
It's so odd. But again, just these whiffs of did you not even plan what you were going to, you knew you were doing celebrity ghost stories today, didn't you? You didn't plan what you were going to say or anything?
Well,
I don't believe. Anyway.
He's a professional orator at this point, so he probably felt he didn't have to.
He's a fellow broadcaster.
Yeah.
Sorry to throw shade at our coworker.
Yeah. He probably felt like he got this.
So anyway, the old story is that the groom threw his bride down an elevator shaft. And that's why the haunting. But also she was pregnant at the time, which is why she likes kids. So if somebody stays in the hotel and they have a kid, she will gravitate toward them. And he wraps it. Oh, I forgot about this. It sort of wraps up with him being like, so I get the wife and the kid, back to the car. He really wants he wants you to think that he's driving a wood paneled station wagon.
Yeah, right.
He's on tour with Dancing with the Stars.
Right.
I get the wife and the kid back out to the car.
He's just like us.
And I go up to get my bag and I decided to say goodbye to the ghosts. And he says goodbye and he goes, and then these panels that were on the wall, blah! blasted off the wall. He says that they exploded off the wall. And he goes, they didn't just fall. It wasn't like a light tap. They were like thrown off the wall. And that's when I realized, I got to get out of here. Quote, I went from being arrogant to kind of scared and, whatless.
Okay.
Scared
and shitless?
Scared and scared whatless.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
maybe I
no.
that one was a Willie misphrasing, but the scared whatless.
That's pretty funny.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's Joey Lawrence. I don't believe a word. Here's what I believe happened. And we'll never know.
Of course.
I think he went to a really nice hotel with his wife and daughter. Mm-hmm. And I think that one of the toys made a sound in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
That's what I think happened.
Or he got a call saying they need celebrities for celebrity ghost stories. You got anything? And this just came out of thin air.
The whole thing?
Yeah,
From whole cloth?
Could have been. If it's made up at all, then... he could have thought back to that one time that he was at a hotel and a toy went off in the middle of the night and then went from there, maybe. But I think that it's possible that a lot of times it's that agents get a call that they're looking for celebrities for celebrity ghost stories. And they say, do you have anything? And the celebrity says, yeah, I do. And then they figure it out.
I think... I think I think you're right about the like meta.
Yeah.
Although
I think sometimes they do have a story, but I do think that there's a percentage of these celebrities who take a job and they figure out what to say.
I think specifically in Joey Lawrence and Nick Hogan's cases, they have agents who got a whiff around.
A whiff a
sniffer from whatever this network is. What is it?
A&E.
A&E. Where they're doing celebrity ghost stories and you're kind of one. Mm-hmm. Anything ever happened to you?
Yeah.
No? Doesn't matter. You have an hour on a Thursday?
Yes.
Come on in, sit down, and tell them that you saw a ghost.
Yes.
And you will get paid. And they might have like a free juice box on set. And you might be able to have it.
That sounds nice. No, I think they
might have a hot and ready from Little Caesars, and I bet you can get a slice if no one's looking, Joey Lawrence.
Nah, I think it's classier than that, but also lesser. I think they're sitting on that little stool telling their story, and they get a nice water bottle.
You're right. You don't think it's a mug. They don't get a mug. An A&E mug.
A mug? You mean like a root beer?
Yeah, I mean a mug root beer.
No, I think they're handing them a water bottle.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, that's Joey Lawrence.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right. Would you like to hear about Reginald VelJohnson, Carl Winslow from Family Matters, or Lisa Rinna?
Let's go. I gotta go Reginald VelJohnson.
Okay.
I part of me wants to be like save the big guns for later but I can't resist. I do love Reginald VelJohnson. What are your feelings? What are your feelings about him?
Oh, I'm always happy to see him.
I like him quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I've seen him in anything in a long time. I wish that I did. I like him.
No, I do too. The thing that I've seen him in, and I think that this is, I'm saying this, but what I'm about to say is I don't think it's a thing at all. Like a real thing at all. And I think it's something that's really messed up. I think it might be a tactic that paparazzi are using. The thing that I had seen him in, just in the news most recently, was that it was rumored that he was at Diddy's freak-offs, which seems very unlikely. And I was telling this.
Listen, it's not impossible.
Of course.
Even listen, Bill Cosby taught us that even the father-like TV figures can be, monsters.
Of course.
So, but Reginald VelJohnson, it's hard to imagine. But like,
it doesn't seem like they'd be traveling in the same circles.
No,
you know what I mean?
No. But even like the cozy actor people who you're like, well, they just seem great. You don't know them. You've only seen them do roles. They could be anyone.
It's just surprising to hear that Carl Winslow was at a Diddy party.
Carl's bad.
Right, Carl's bad. But so I was telling this to my friend Jesse, and so I was saying I saw a TMZ video where they're like harassing him about this, and that he was just like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And then Jessie said that she saw the same thing with Corey Feldman. they were yelling at Corey Feldman saying that he was at Diddy parties. And so I'm wondering
Yeah.
if this is just one of those things. You know how like paparazzi will scream like the C word
Yeah.
at women, just get them to turn around so they can get like a shot of them reacting or whatever. I wonder if that has maybe died down now, but maybe for a little while when that news first broke, that was an effective way to get celebrities to turn around and give you a reaction.
I wouldn't doubt it.
At something
Let me just
for a
shout
minute. Something
an
like-
even baseless accusation that will definitely get your attention.
Yeah.
Look at how many pictures I have of
Reginald VelJohnson looking shocked and horrified.
look at these Patrick Duffy snaps I got. Doesn't he look so confused and annoyed at me?
Right. Wow, go on.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Good job,
Right.
I guess.
Right. So honestly, that was the last time I had heard about Reginald VelJohnson before finding that he had had a celebrity ghost story.
Yeah.
But here's what's doing with his celebrity ghost story. It takes some not humongous turns, but there was something that was a little bit surprising to me about it. So
He should have told an episode of he should have just recited an episode of Family Matters like it really happened to him.
I would have didn't.
So I'm sitting on the couch in the living room, and my annoying neighbor comes in. I got to tell you about this guy. He's always causing a mess, but he's a
would've been
brilliant
seated.
scientist.
That's right. I'd be listening. So he said that, years ago, he moved into a condo in Hollywood that he bought from this couple, these two guys who moved out, and they were gone for a little while before he moved in. And weird stuff started happening pretty much immediately after he got there. He'd hear footsteps with no source, classic ghosty stuff. But one night when he was sleeping, he felt the oddest sensation. And this sounds horrible to me. He felt fingers touching him very softly on the hand and the face. And he demonstrates just like, barely stroking your hand, barely stroking your face. And I was like, ah!
That sounds awful.
That sounds terrible. So that, it may not be as impactful as like seeing a fiery demon on the ceiling or something, but how creepy.
Yeah, but that's the...
It's still something touching you
Absolutely.
and touching you so softly.
There's just such an
Ugh.
arms race in ghost storytelling on shows, even our show.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if it's not a demon, it's
Right.
boring. But no, these are people that... Listen, I didn't believe Joey Lawrence. I want to believe Reginald VelJohnson. Did you believe him?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to believe Reginald
I did believe
VelJohnson.
him.
And
It's such a strange story that it's like, yeah, it's odd. Yes, I do believe him.
And also, I would love for the paranormal to exist. So hearing people tell their stories, even if they're not the flashiest,
Right.
sexiest ghost story from Reginald VelJohnson,
Sure.
it's somebody's experience. I'm curious to hear it. Yeah.
So he said that I can't remember if it was that night or just another night. He saw something out of the corner of his eye one night moving in the hallway, and it was like a dark mist or a shadow. But when he got up to check it out, no one was there. So just like all this weird stuff is happening. So he decided to consult a psychic that his brother told him about. And the psychic's name was Johnny. And she was asking him questions pertaining to all the people that he knew, just kind of like just general warm-up rounds, it sounds like almost. And she was able to call up his mother's name and his grandmother's name. So that kind of impressed him.
Yeah,
He was like, all right, she's got some chops or whatever. And then she asked, who's James? And that was the previous condo owner. And so the psychic was like, it seems like James is like hanging around your house. That's kind of like who was there. Wait, am I right about that? No.
Oh, you lied.
I did lie. Okay, I extrapolated that. She just said who was James.
Okay.
And I wrote James was the previous condo owner. So Reginald called his real estate agent to inquire after James and say like, hey, how is James doing? Because I'm
Yeah.
experiencing, I don't know if he said this, but he's thinking I'm experiencing ghostly activity. A psychic asked me about a James, kind of saying that seems like a James might be hanging around me. Could it be the same James? And the real estate agent told him that James died not long after the sale of the condo.
Wow.
And so he knew that the sellers had been really attached to the condo. They lived there for like 10 or 15 years. And Reginald had the sense that James didn't really want to sell it as much as his partner Alan did. And he's kind of like going against his will a little bit and, whatever. So a couple nights after he found this stuff out, Reginald was sleeping when all of a sudden there was total chaos. Like he wakes up because he hears the sound of glass shattering super, super loud. So he got up to investigate and he found something really weird. And this is the kind of thing that made me kind of believe it, because this is so strange. And like, why would you make, obviously people can make up anything, but just like, it just doesn't make any sense, basically.
Yeah.
So he said in the center of his living room, there was this big mirror he had laying on the floor unbroken, with a glass lamp he had in the center of the mirror. And he said it was this big, heavy mirror, and everything looked like it had been placed there so deliberately and so delicately. And like if that mirror had fallen over, it would have it would have made that really loud glass shattering sound that he heard. But it didn't. Like, none of it made sense. He heard the sound of glass shattering. Something has moved, and it is glass, but it's not broken. Like, just totally incongruous, totally confusing. What the hell is going on? And they're just stacked on top of each other, these two glass objects. Just very, very weird. And it really kind of sold me on the story. Not that I didn't believe Reginald VelJohnson before this, mind.
Of course.
He's a trustworthy person. But this was just so strange that I was like, yeah, okay.
You're right.
It's the kind of thing where you're explaining it to somebody from his perspective, and it's like, I know this is weird, but because it just did happen,
because it doesn't,
and you're just telling the truth, and it would be much easier to make up something that makes more sense.
Yes. Well, we're also so used to the idea of any ghost story where it's like, if it didn't say boo to you, or you picked it up on an EVP,
right?
Well, then it's not a ghost or something. But we don't know. Like, that's just what everyone's used to. Yeah, exactly. Something completely inexplicably weird happening is maybe more plausible,
right,
than it just adhering to the tried and true tropes. You know,
totally. So now it gets kicked up a notch. So he has gone in the room. He's looking at this. He's just kind of like puzzling over it and just like, what the helling? And he gets up, turns around, and he sees James, like the ghostly image of James, that dude who had sold him the apartment. And he said that he was dressed the way that he was the first time Reginald ever met him. And he really only had the time to just like take in his image. He blinked and then he was gone again. And he said, now Reginald says he doesn't scare easily. He's a cop after all.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
My words, not his.
2 ways, too.
That's right.
Actually, 3 ways. Do you know the 3 cops that Reginald VelJohnson has played?
The 3 cops of Reginald VelJohnson.
At least the ones that I remember.
That's a movie. Okay, Carl Winslow, obviously.
Yes.
Die Hard.
Yes. Oh, God. Who's Al Strobel? It's not his character, but someone's named Al Strobel in pop culture. Or maybe it's a guy I know.
Who is Al Strobel?
Don't worry about it.
No,
Don't
we
worry
have to,
about
because people at home are going to be going nuts now.
Well, but they'll know and they'll just yell it at us.
That's
I'll
true,
look it up.
if they don't.
Do you know the third cop?
No, what is it?
He's in Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Which is
yes.
crazy.
Yes. When I was doing research about him, I saw that and I was like, wait, what? I didn't remember that at all.
Oh my God, Al Strobel.
Okay. He's Philip Gerard from Twin Peaks.
Al Strobel is Mike from Twin Peaks. That's so weird.
That's the actor's name.
Wow. He didn't even come up in my research for Twin Peaks at all. The name Al Strobel.
Weird. I wonder why right now.
I don't know.
It's out of nowhere.
It's a sign.
It came from another place.
It did. Fire walk with me.
Yeah. But yeah, he says he's kind of a toughie. He doesn't really scare easily, but he said he was scared out of his mind by this entire thing because it was just yikes.
Steve?
Yeah. Yeah, he came in and did mischief. So then and this also I thought was kind of interesting. So on a lot of celebrity ghost stories, they'll find out who the ghost is. And if it's a story like this, where it's like, oh, it turned out it was the previous owner and they just loved their home so much. On a lot of these stories, it's like, so, I invited them to stay. And in the morning I wake up and I say, good morning, James. And, whatever they go about their business. Nope, for Reginald VelJohnson. After that, he had the house blessed by a preacher and he hung crosses all around. And he basically tried to get James out of there.
Force him out.
He was not having it. So
I bought this condo.
Yes.
You can pay rent if you want to stay, James.
And I just thought it was really funny. I've watched enough celebrity ghost stories to be like, oh, okay, the beats of this are that
Right.
the ghost stays with him and they habitate happily and it's like totally fine. And he was like, no, I had a preacher come to do a blessing to try to get this out. I hung crosses everywhere. So that's almost as though, he doesn't say this, but it's like, you're hanging crosses everywhere. It's like to get the demons out.
Yes, the demon James.
Like, get him out of here.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not in my house.
No, he was like, out, devil.
Yeah.
He just was not into James hanging around.
What a racket to sell your condo and then just haunt it,
Yeah.
right? Because then it's just free.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's a real scheme.
That's not bad.
Be dead,
Good on James.
just stay.
I do love a little scheme.
Yeah.
So I respect James for that. He said that there is obviously something sad about somebody who loves their house so much
Yes.
that they don't want to leave.
Yes.
And he said, but maybe, there's always like a final little line or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, but maybe James finally went home because he's not here anymore. Yeah, because the power of Christ compelled him.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
shooed him out.
You may have sent him to hell.
Yeah, you had a preacher come in and you hung crosses all over your house. You probably damned him to the underworld.
Totally. What if one cross, like in the kitchen, bumped him through the wall out of
Yeah.
the kitchen, but then
Yeah.
there's another cross on the next wall in
So
the
then
living
he's just
room.
stuck between the walls. Just
He's
like
stuck in between the walls. Yeah, exactly. He's just
Like a
ping-ponging
pinball.
back and forth inside those two crosmes
He could be
for all
we know.
eternity.
He's not bothering Reginald VelJohnson anymore, so what does he care?
Thanks, Reggie.
Yeah. Seems like a lovely man.
He does. He seems wonderful to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But maybe not if you're a ghost.
Perhaps not to
Maybe
James.
maybe not be a friend to the ghost.
Maybe not.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
You can't do it all.
No, totally.
Can't be everything to everybody.
He's a public servant. We can only ask so much of him.
It's true.
As an actor and as a police officer.
Yes. Can I just give you my shorty of Nick
Yeah.
Hogan? Because I took barely any notes.
Yeah.
But after listening to people tell stories that I felt were like, because I've got one that I will definitely tell you in a little bit about, like my father's ghost came to me kind of thing. And then I watched Nick Hogan, who was basically like, so my bros and I are at this hotel and we decide to
he
go up to the haunted 13th floor.
He was probably living it up while that reality show was on. You know what I mean?
Hogan knows best.
Yeah. He's probably living large.
This Nick Hogan, he seems like he gets in trouble. I don't know if you know much about Nick Hogan.
I think he did get in trouble, right?
Yeah,
What was he arrested?
He's multiple like DUIs.
Yeah, let's say, yeah.
He accusations of like driving with one of his friends in the car, and his friend got like for life injured.
Oh, God.
Like awful
Yeah.
stuff. But he just came off totally like like in the flashbacks too.
Mm-hmm.
They're flashbacks to, I guess, the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Right. And so even in the flashbacks, he and his friends are all dressed like Jamie Kennedy. You know what I'm
Do
talking
you mean
about?
flashbacks or reenactments?
Reenactments,
Okay, I was
reenactments.
wondering if they were actually showing pictures. Okay,
No,
gotcha.
no. But like it's all like,
Yes.
like two polo shirts.
Oh, yeah.
And, like all that shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Like all that shit. And he's just like, so we're up there causing a ruckus.
Oh, God.
And then I
Nightmares.
I'm pretty sure I saw a ghost. It's just like, I don't know. Just another guy who I just don't believe. But it also just came across so immature. Now,
my
in
God.
another setting, that might carry as much weight to me
Sure.
as any of the other stories.
Sure.
But somehow Celebrity Ghost Stories carries a predominantly thoughtful vibe.
Uh-huh.
Even Reginald VelJohnson's story wasn't necessarily so emotional or sentimental, opposite of sentimental.
Yeah.
But it was relatively considered, described thoughtful.
Yes.
Joey Lawrence, God love him, did his best to appear thoughtful. And then Nick Jonas is just sitting there and he's got his dopey mohawk. Yeah. He's like, we ordered pizza. We were in the hotel and I heard a ghost.
You know what I bet they did? I picture them in a hotel, like an LA hotel that has like, railings all around a pool and somebody doing a somersault off a railing into a pool.
Absolutely.
Like that's like
That like or
friends
that,
of Nick Hogan
that
do.
you ever see that weird side somersault people do where they like sort of grab their knees and they just kind of tumble sideways. You know what I'm talking about? The Harvey Mellon or whatever from Back to School. Yeah, listen,
that's so
I can't lie to you. There's not very much that I actually had to say about Nick Hogan, but I did watch it, and I wanted to say that I watched Nick Hogan talk for a while, and I decided I had my fill.
That's fair.
I was pretty much wrapped on that.
I think that's fair.
So I called my dad, and he came in and body slammed the ghost. This is before he couldn't rip a shirt, mind you. But he handled that phantom for me.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, great. All right.
I'm going to kick the ectoplasm out of you, brother. Sore shit. That's all.
Oh God. All right. Well, we're going to tell some more ghost stories from more weird celebrities. But first, we must make sure that you know about patreon.com/GTTUpod. This is where you can go to get a ton more Guides to the Unknown, because we actually have a second weekly show that comes out every Monday called the Netherworld Dispatch. This is our little small business that we do, Guides to the Unknown, and this is a way that you can get more of our wares.
Yes, you can support us and unlock, hours upon hours upon hours of really fun shows. Awesome formats where we're looking at, I had an idea again of like something I want to revive coming in the near future. I don't think it's gonna be the next one. I want to look at more horror music videos.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But like we've done that in the past, like watching like 30 seconds to
yeah, that was a good one.
Mars music videos.
Yeah.
Playing horror video games. We've got commentaries for all the Scream movies, most of the Blair Witch movies, Twilight watch-a-thons. It is so much fun on the Netherworld Dispatch, and it supports us immensely.
It really does.
Patreon.com/GTTUpod. It also sort of like deepens the Guide to the Unknown connection. You get into our Discord. You can chat with other people behind the scenes. Chrissy and I are in there almost daily, I would say.
Yeah.
And the most recent episode of the Netherworld Dispatch is episode 205, Scary St. Patrick's Day.
Yes. We take a look at Darby O'Gill and the Little People, and a bunch of the Leprechaun.
Yeah, we tried not to.
Right, exactly. So we were looking for like any kind of like scary Irishy stuff to look at that wasn't the Leprechaun, but we made our way there inevitably.
He's like a black hole.
Yeah.
How do you not look at the Leprechaun?
Yeah.
So we did.
Yes.
You can
It's
go
a
get that.
celebration of the Emerald Isle.
It's out there right now. It's out there, everybody. Patreon.com/GTTUpod.
It's lurking. And also, when you join us at the $4 or more tier, you get access to just regular Guides to the Unknown, but ad-free. So no fast forwarding anymore.
That's right. Yeah. Now, we also like reading reviews on the show. I have a really great one. 5 stars, Kristen. That's the one I'm going to read to you.
Great.
It's titled Another Ant That Found You from NunyaBiz333.
Nice.
Found this from Will's spot on Tell Him Steve Dave. Really enjoy it. I hope he gets the overkill job.
Oop.
This review is in the past. I did not get that job. But thank you. I hope you're still listening. I hope you enjoy the show.
That's great.
Super fun. 5 stars.
That's great. Thank you so much to everybody who leaves us reviews. It means a lot to us. It helps other people decide to check out the show. If you haven't done it yet, we really appreciate it if you did. You can leave us a written review like that on Apple Podcasts. You can leave us a starred review on Spotify, and just anywhere you listen. We would really appreciate it. So
yes.
thanks.
Spread the word. Tell your friends. Write a post.
Yep.
All of those things, especially today where it's really hard to like discover new shows. Those go way further than you would even believe. Tag at GTTUpod. We'll probably reshare it.
Definitely.
Get in the mix.
Yeah.
Super fun. Thank you all for your support.
Yes.
All right.
We're gonna
One
do
more.
A little commercial and then come back with more celebrity ghost stories.
Oh, I wonder what goods or services. I can't wait.
Ooh.
You said fast forward it, but why do you fast forward through dope shit like this?
Ooh, I love a commercial.
Tight.
You know, honestly, I usually put on a podcast and I fast forward through just the people talking to get to the commercials.
Just the commercials. I'm probably going to get that second thing.
Yeah. Me
Or
too.
do it.
I might invest in it. All right, well, I want you to hit me with another one.
Okay. All right. So I would give you the 50-50.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to pick for you.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Jerry Stiller.
Okay. I mean, comedy legend.
What is your history with Jerry Stiller?
I love Jerry Stiller.
You're going to love him even more.
Yeah.
You're going to love him even more.
I do vaguely remember this.
You've seen this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's a sweet story. It's a decidedly sweet story.
Yep.
And it's not that I don't like the sweet stories. In fact, I think this is probably the best of the best
Yeah.
of it being sweet.
Yeah.
So
I actually
Jerry,
think that I believe that Debbie in our Discord shared this story like not super long ago.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So Jerry Stiller, if the name's ringing a bell, but he can't picture Jerry Stiller, he's George Costanza's dad on Seinfeld. He's Frank Costanza.
Oh, what a hoot.
This is Frank Costanza.
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 That's all weird.
You saying you want a piece of me? Just like such a strange delivery, so goddamn funny. He's on King of Queens.
Yep.
So many things. I mean, absolute legend of comedy.
Stiller and Mira.
Stiller and Mira going like way back, decades back. His son is Ben Stiller.
Yep.
It's like comedy's in their blood.
Yes.
And that's sort of the point of the story. So Jerry Stiller, first of all, in the format of celebrity ghost stories, I love this where they almost have, like what we do with the show, they have like a little cold open of like the celebrity saying a sentence and then they put up like the description card.
Right.
He goes, "One night I woke up and I heard something."
That's their
like,
cold open.
As the cold open, I was like, that's like the opposite of anything.
Yeah, right.
But I loved it, and then because he really, I won't do the impression of because I can't really.
Yeah.
But he really talks.
He has a
like
very
his
distinctive
characters.
way of talking.
Very distinctive way of talking. A lot of handwork. His fingers are always like pressed forward, almost as if he can't close his hands. I believe the man can.
Yeah.
Or could, but he very. Very comforting to watch.
Yeah.
Very familiar to watch, even though I've seen mostly him play characters. Zoolander's agent.
Oh my God.
Maury Ballstein.
Oh, he's so good. That was one of his best.
Yes. He doesn't.
Oh shit, what is it? He's got the size of a cantaloupe and a head full of bad memories.
Prostate.
Yeah.
Prostate. He doesn't hold a cell phone because he's afraid of the radiation. That's a little detail in Zoolander that doesn't need to be there. That's great. He just pubs in the earpiece.
The little details that make it.
I use the earpiece because I'm scared of the radiation.
Yeah, and he's in the middle of a runway.
It's a casserole, Sheila. It'll stay.
It'll stay.
He's wonderful.
Love him.
He says, in some way, I wrote. I'm not going to read them all, but I realized at a
Might have
certain
been
point.
a honeydew.
What?
Go ahead. I said a cantaloupe. I think it was a prostate the size of a honeydew.
Oh, shit, you're going to have to go back and watch.
Yeah.
You're going to have to check.
Damn.
I realized that I was almost like a stenographer. I wrote down almost everything he said for the whole episode because I was just enjoying myself. I'll condense, I'll repurpose where necessary, but I love the way that he phrased certain things.
Yeah.
So he said, in some way, I guess as you go through your life, you start to think of yourself as either being affected by mysterious paranormal things or you're not.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, Mr. Stiller. He goes, I have no way of explaining it. I'm not saying that I'm a psychic or that I'm able to touch into the other world. I don't say that. I don't believe it.
Okay.
That's good too. Don't introduce yourself as a psychic if you don't think you are.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
The pearl of wisdom. But then he says, I just know it happened. It happened to me. Here's what happened. So let's set the scene. It's Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Jerry Stiller is a little boy. So we're going way back.
Yeah.
All right. He talks about how his father, William Stiller, was a bus driver. And as Jerry Stiller says, an amateur comedian. I guess his dad was really funny, really larger than life. But, because it's like basically like the old days, he didn't have the greatest relationship with his dad, even if he was funny.
Yeah.
His dad had to work, like 12-hour shifts and had 3 kids, so there just wasn't enough time in the day, that kind of thing. And Jerry Stiller, what becomes very clear as he goes through his segment is that Jerry Stiller, really held a lot of, I guess he had a lot of baggage from that relationship because it's the sort of like old classic of like, my dad never said like a complimentary thing to me. He never complimented anything that I did, never had like a kind word to say about my work. And here's what I found interesting, especially because of the way that celebrity ghost stories operates. They do those reenactments.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, and this was confusing too, admittedly. Jerry Stiller's like, I took my father to see a show, a Harvey Keitel show. It's like a Harvey Keitel.
Yeah,
what?
A play.
What era is this? No, he describes Harvey Keitel as if he were a comedian. Now, for all I know, He was? I don't know. Or if it's a different Harvey Keitel, I'm not sure. But in the reenactment,
Yeah.
because we've already now seen, when he described like when I was a kid, my father was a bus driver. We see his dad,
Yeah.
and he's like wearing like a bus driver's like uniform. And then at this Harvey Keitel show, it's the same guy, but now like with like flour in his beard to show that his father has aged.
Right.
And his father is talking to some old man backstage. And then it becomes clear that the old man is Jerry Stiller in the reenactment. It's like,
What? I don't remember that.
it's so weird because they didn't get another older performer to play his aged up dad. But I guess this story takes place at the Harvey Keitel show when Jerry Stiller was like in his 40s or 50s. So they have a 50-year-old man reenacting Jerry Stiller against William Stiller, who's played by the same man that played him in the younger reenactment, just aged up. So in the reenactments now,
Oh, I thought you were saying that. Okay. I thought you were saying Jerry Stiller himself was in the reenactment.
No,
like
no.
Like how on Unsolved Mysteries they have the person. Okay,
no,
I
no,
gotcha.
a reenactment Jerry Stiller who is older than the actor
see.
playing his father.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is so. I had to read. I was like, "What is going on?" And it's weird to see a reenactor like face on,
Yeah.
playing the celebrity who's talking. Like usually they try to obscure it more, but I was
Yeah.
like, "This isn't Jerry Stiller." I know this
You're
isn't
not
Jerry
fooling
Stiller,
me.
so I assumed it was someone else.
Yeah.
But no, it was supposed to be Jerry Stiller talking to his father, who in the reenactments is younger than him now.
Yeah, right. Boy,
So odd.
things went awry.
So odd. And he says, Jerry Stiller, that at some point he just stopped looking for compliments from his
Yeah.
father. He would like, and then here's a weird trait. He said that he would keep taking his father to shows because Jerry Stiller did a lot of like, stand up and live comedy and stuff. And if William Stiller in the audience didn't believe the person on stage in their performance, he would yell out, "Faker, faker." He would, "Hey, Dad, we're at a show.
Yeah, no thanks.
Can you not yell at my, I guess, coworkers, colleagues?
Yeah.
Yell that they're fakers."
Yeah.
But so you get a sense that his father had some form of, I don't know,
He was a tough customer.
anger or something, or the amateur comedian aspect of his father. I think maybe some resentment that he was a bus driver and now his son has this, growing, entertainment career. And this continues as Jerry Stiller becomes the guy that we even saw on TV. So Jerry Stiller describes that he ends up getting an apartment in the city. And how his dad would come over and like play the piano that they had and did this other thing that I bet was probably amusing, but it's hard. Admittedly, it's hard for me to describe. It's very visual. The apartment was big. It was like a nice big apartment because Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira were doing well for themselves.
Yeah.
And so it was probably more than his father had ever had for himself, whatever. And so his dad, seemingly to almost like make fun of the space, it's very weird. He would put his hands behind his back, his father, and pretend to be like ice skating down the halls.
Yeah.
Which Jerry Stiller even says, like, I guess he was trying to like make fun of the size of the place, or like take a little pot shot of like, wow, you could do whatever you want here. It's so
Right.
big, or just some like a little resentment-ism thing. But it was something that his dad did. He would pretend to ice skate up and down the halls of this apartment. So, Jerry Stiller's father dies while Jerry Stiller is on the set of King of Queens.
Yeah. He was an old man.
He was an old man. This is one of those things too where it's just like, we didn't have this. But like sometimes when I hear about somebody who's like, my father died.
Yeah.
And you're like,
He died when?
Just now, old man?
Yeah.
When? What?
Right.
You had a dad when you were an old man?
Right.
Okay.
How?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It never ends though. You never stop being a kid of your parents. So Jerry Stiller, even
totally.
though he's an old man himself on the set of King of Queens, it seems very painful. He describes like how he tried to fly home. His dad, he was said like, your dad he's passing away. So Jerry Stiller tries to hop on a plane to get to New York and doesn't make it in time.
That
He's not
sucks.
there. And Jerry Stiller, this all seems incredibly painful for him too.
Yeah.
be telling the story. It's still very emotional for him. Because this show would have been taped, probably a decade and change after. So it's still got to be relatively fresh. So here's the ghost portion. All of that is to explain the following. He says, one night, I'll never forget this. It's the middle of the night. I was sleeping. I woke up and I heard something. He called that big hallway the vestibule.
Yeah.
He said it was a noise coming from the vestibule. He didn't understand what the noise was. And it occurred to him that someone was walking back and forth inside his house. So it came to his mind. This is another funny, his phrasing of I don't tell people I'm a psychic because I don't think I am.
Right.
And he doesn't seem to notice the comedy in that. He goes, it came into my mind, who could be here in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The obvious thought came to you.
Right. What is that? It's the middle of the night.
Yes, correct.
Doesn't really need that much explaining.
Continue.
Yeah.
He realized that it was the sound of his father ice skating up and down the halls. Or as Jerry Stiller calls it, him doing Hans Brinker, who I guess is some old skater that I don't know.
Yes, of course.
Hans Brinker. I love that name.
I know, it's such a
I think it's just an ice skater.
A good old time name.
Just an ice skater. But how
Could be
weird is
today.
that?
Yes.
The ghost of your relative is doing something silly.
Doing an old bit.
Doing a bit, and it's a bit that you sort of have internalized as being I feel like this is some odd way of taking a shot at me.
Yes.
I know that I don't even understand, but you're doing that in the hallway. So he starts feeling that it's got to be his dad in the hallway, quote, skating down the hallway, having fun at my expense. That's a hard feeling to have as well. Suddenly the door opened, and he said that he felt like he saw a spirit rather than a person. He never dreamed this could have happened, but he says that his senses were real. And then, bam, his father was suddenly standing right in front of him. He was just standing there. And Jerry Stiller says that he heard his father's voice say, "You did good, Jerry." And
that's very sweet.
That was it. And he disappeared. And in Jerry Stiller telling the story, he's very clearly he's teary-eyed. He's glassy-eyed. He's very this really was impactful to him. And he said, quote, "My father had come here for a purpose. He found it within his own awareness or sensitivities that I needed something. I needed this moment." And he's I had been waiting my whole life to hear a compliment from my father. And I finally got it. You did good, Jerry. That was it. I'd gotten everything.
Yeah.
And he says that growing up, he felt that his dad would never tell a lie. And that even further sort of made that "you did good, Jerry" meaningful.
Yeah, for him to say it, he must have meant it.
That he would have meant it. But now Jerry Stiller also goes sometimes people will ask me what character are you doing? On Seinfeld or King of Queens or something. He's I never really knew. He goes, I think I was doing my father. I think I was being Willie Stiller, a bus driver from Brooklyn. And he goes, so I tell people that now. But as he's saying that, which is a very sweet thing for him to say and clearly means a lot to him, Celebrity Ghost Stories does him dirty. As he's saying this, they zip to some of these reenactment moments. And as he's talking about how his father was funny. And deserved his, because what he's really saying is his father deserved his bona fides for being funny.
Yeah.
They zip back to reenactment Willie Stiller in Brooklyn with the kids.
Yeah.
And they show him turn his bus driver cap sideways.
Being unfunny.
And start doing the, just
Charlie
imitating
Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin, swinging his cane and doing his stupid little duck walk. And it's just this is the only thing you could think. You're old stuff. He acted like Charlie Chaplin. And maybe he did. Maybe you did, but their lack of imagination of what it means to be funny, I was just you made him look like a nerd. This sucks. This sucks. This man's telling you something very emotional.
Yeah.
You diminish it with this.
What have you done?
Charlie Chaplin, mock him up, dress him up. Now, it ends on a very strange note, because I did a little research. Jerry Stiller, he's not done. He goes, now I bought a couple of graves for Anne and me. He bought them in Nantucket in Massachusetts. And then his whole point of saying this is he says, I don't want to be buried in Nantucket. Why did I buy these things? He says, this is the quote, I want to be buried with my father. I want to go back and be next to his bones.
Whoa.
Whoa. That's what he says.
Okay.
Yeah. So I looked up Jerry Stiller. He passed away in 2020 at 92 years old.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And he's buried in Nantucket. So.
All right. Well, maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he decided he wanted to be next to his wife's bones.
Maybe, right.
Potentially.
Yes, yeah, who knows? I don't know exactly when this was aired, if he never changed his mind again, but all I know is I heard him say.
He also could have been in the heat of the moment talking about his dad. It's all emotional.
Totally. Yes. I just know that for me, I opened a new tab as he's saying, I don't want to be buried in Nantucket, and then just read the words, he is buried in Nantucket. Oops.
Yikes.
Oh, no. But there you go. A very sweet story.
Yeah.
A very sweet story. I get it, you know?
Oh, totally.
And I really appreciated it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know. That is like a really nice one of this. Like, I think of that story when I think of Celebrity Ghost Story. I don't think of the story because I didn't really remember like the beats of the story. I think of him. He's so sweet telling that story.
He feels very sincere. I want to believe him, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's so honest and like vulnerable.
Yeah.
It seems like he was such a sweet guy.
Yes.
All right. Well, from sweet sincerity to somebody who I don't trust as far as I can throw.
I'm thrilled. All right, we bookend with people we think may be lying.
Yeah.
They are performers after all.
Yes, and Lisa Rinna is a performer du jour.
Now, who is Lisa Rinna?
Okay, so Lisa Rinna is I mean, she doesn't do it anymore really, but she was a soap star. She was on Melrose Place. She was like on other stuff.
Okay.
And then she had a long run on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which is what I mainly know. I mean, I knew who she was and everything before that. She's honestly kind of known for, I think, mostly Melrose Place and having huge lips.
Okay.
That was like kind of her claim to fame, honestly, before she was on Beverly Hills.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a thing that she had these really big lips, kind of before everybody started blowing their lips up. And then it was even like a big thing that she got her lip implants removed. And her lips still
they were
remained
implants.
Big. Mm-hmm. Her lips still remained big. She still had like stuff in them.
Okay.
But I remember being on like Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah.
And everything. She's married to actor Harry Hamlin. And yeah, that's who she is. And on Beverly Hills, this lady is lying left, right, and center. Now, I really enjoyed watching her. I kind of miss her presence there to a degree. But you can't trust Lisa Rinna at all. Like, she got caught saying something like terrible, and she'd just be there's something where somebody's like, did you say that Kim is close to death? And it's this woman who was going through horrible addiction and mental health issues.
Oh, God.
It didn't seem like she was doing hot, but it's not a kind thing to say on TV. It's not very compassionate. And she's just like, I don't remember that. And she 100% said it. It's on camera. Phony baloney to the end of time. Producing like crazy, just trying to sow fights between people. What I'm saying is she's thinking about making a show, this woman.
Has there ever been a Real Housewife who's like in her 90s and bedridden? Because that's what I thought when you were like, she said that someone was close to death. I pictured like an old lady.
No,
you know?
Not yet. There will be.
I like martinis too. I have my doctor put them in my IV bag.
Actually, not exactly. But on Southern Charm, there is a woman named Patricia Altschul who had, actually, I think the butler passed. She had an old man butler who made her martinis every day and brought them to her while she's lying on like a divan in her caftan. And I think he died like in the last year or two.
The butler?
Yeah.
What happens
and
if
he was an old man.
What happens if you have to take care of your butler? Who pays who?
That's a great question. I don't know.
It's a question for the ages. That feels like one of those like impossible questions to answer.
I think he took care of Patricia to the end.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I don't know.
I like the idea of like a reality show of sassy people at the end of their life.
Me too. I mean, that's kind of Golden Girls.
Oh, no, you...
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Well, honestly, that's where Real Housewives is headed. I mean, there's no signs of stopping, really.
Yeah. Well, no, they keep refreshing with new blood, don't they?
Sometimes, but it's not going well.
No?
No, they rebooted New York, and it sucked so bad. So I don't think that they're really going to be doing that with many of them.
Give Dorinda her day.
Look, Dorinda was so miserable on the press for Traitors.
Yeah.
There's something really wrong with her. Like, Fame has
Her
really...
attitude.
She has a horrible attitude. Fame has warped her brain so insanely. Like there was they were doing a thing with like all the cast members of Traitors where they were like describe the finale, and people would be like dastardly, delicious, whatever. And she was like clip because that's one of her catchphrases from the Real Housewives of New York City from like 10 years ago. That has nothing to do with the Traitors. There's something wrong with this woman.
What does it mean?
She was wasted at a mafia-themed brunch, and somebody was saying something that annoyed her, and she was going, clip! It didn't even make real sense in the moment. It was her wanting them to shut up. I don't know if it was clip their mouth.
Like a chip clip?
I don't know. No one knows.
I'll treat you like so much Tostitos. Clip.
No one knows.
Dorindos.
Or it's...
Are you going to finish that bag of Dorindos? Clip. Keep it fresh.
William, do you remember... This is your life. Do you remember that one of my favorite lines of yours is when I told you there's a woman on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, actually one of Lisa Rinna's co-stars, whose name was Dorit, and you said, does she have a friend named Tostit? Because of Doritos and Tostitos.
Tostit. It's a great name. Boy, I really had it.
Great line of yours.
I really had it when I was young. Had that Riz.
But it was like last year. And then... So that's... Okay, so they ask her to describe the finale of Traitors, and Dorinda says clip, which is like an old-ass catchphrase from forever ago. And then even on the reunion... Did you watch the reunion of Traitors?
Of course I did.
She's like furious at Bob the drag queen because he said he didn't know who she was. Get over yourself, lady.
I wish I didn't know who she was.
I have a complicated relationship with Dorinda. She annoys the hell out of me, but she shows these flashes of humanity sometimes where she can be kind and listening.
You're just trying to get an invitation to Bluestone Manor.
She drops into this different voice sometimes, and I'm like, that's the Dorinda who's like normal and nice, but she's not there that often. Okay. Anyway.
It's a whole different show. It's a whole different show.
It is. I don't think I even invoked her name.
No, I did. I don't know what I was thinking. I knew the risk I was running.
Yeah, you got me on a whole other track. I apologize.
Too close to the sun.
I apologize, everybody. I could talk about that forever. Okay, so Lisa Rinna is a real bullshit artist is basically the thing.
Yes.
And so here is her ghost story. And I did a little bit of fact checking. That doesn't necessarily wipe this out, but it made me kind of like, it casts like a little teeny bit of doubt on it. So... She starts off talking about moving into her husband Harry Hamlin's house after they got married. And she says the house is gorgeous. What's funny?
I was going to try to swallow it. I was trying not to distract you. You said she moved into Harry Hamlin's house, and then I pictured him going, "This is Hamlin House." Crossing his arms like a promo. It just sounds like another show.
They did have their own reality show, just the two of them, before she joined the Real Housewives, called Harry Loves Lisa or something. Ugh. So they probably basically did have that.
Hamlin's house is way better.
House of Hamlin.
House of Hamlin. Yeah. I'm Harry, and this is Hamlin home. Home for Hamlins. Harry's home for Hamlins. It gets even worse. Worse the more you workshop it.
Name.
Hamlin.
I actually like Harry Hamlin. It's a funny name.
Harry Hamlet's. Hamlin's Hamlets.
Yeah, it's Harry Hamlin's Hamlets.
Yeah.
Okay, she says the house is gorgeous. She's like nesting, making it her home, all of that. But she had this sense of oddness about the home. Like she'd be getting ready for the day and just feel a breeze whoosh by her, for example. But no one was there. And it was just kind of like a strange thing that she noticed. And also they have the reenactments. I thought it was funny. They had somebody just with a short hair wig doing the reenactments, but it had none of the pizzazz of Lisa Rinna's hair, which is like a thing.
I bet she was offended.
You know what I mean? She has this short, flippy Sally Hershberger cut of like the 90s that she's just stuck with forevermore.
Yeah.
Somebody Brandy Glanville made a dig about it at one of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunions. And after that, she started wearing wigs intermittently. I don't like them. Just for fun.
Oh, okay.
But it always looks weird to me. She should just stick with it. Anyway. So a couple years later, they had their first daughter, Delilah Belle. They also have Amelia Gray. I'll talk about her in a bit.
I think I hate you and your hand gestures. I'm not liking your condescending hand gestures.
They're both models now.
All right.
Okay. Also, weirdly, they both didn't have Lisa Rinna's giant lips. So they both have fillers to make it look like they have the same lips as Lisa now. It's weird. Okay.
Whoa. You have to get plastic surgery to look more like your
mom's plastic surgery.
Wow.
Because her plastic surgery is so iconic.
I never thought of that.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
interesting.
Yeah. So Lisa says that they would take Delilah from room to room in this thing that she called a Moses basket. I'm guessing that it's kind of like
a bassinet. Because
bassinet.
Moses was pushed in the river in a basket?
I guess that's like an old-timey phrase for just like a bassinet.
Oh, I thought it sounds like a cool term that she came up with. It's just a bassinet thing.
I don't think she came up with it. It's probably what some people call it.
Okay.
So yeah, they would just see her. They're just carrying her, and they would see her looking up, like laughing and smiling, and it seemed like she was reacting and talking to somebody, like while they were just doing it, bopping from room to room. And Lisa thought, well, that's great. I'm glad she's happy, but this is kind of weird. Like, what's really going on here? And she said that the first time it happened was at 6 weeks old, which was really strange because it's so early to be coherent at all.
Yeah.
But it really seemed like there was something that she was looking at and reacting to, like often. So then 3 years later, they had Amelia. And when she was about 4 or 5 months old, the same thing was happening, but it was even more constant. And I thought, slam on Amelia that it happened so much later, but whatever. Just mentioning the ages.
Throw shade on your baby.
I know. So then one night it was 3 a.m. and they had the baby monitor on and they heard giggling and then silence. Giggling and then silence. So Lisa got up to check. She was super tired and bleary-eyed. And when she opened the door, she saw a woman standing at the crib. A ghost woman. It scared the hell out of her on one hand, but on another hand, she thought she must just be exhausted. She must just be imagining things. And the woman disappeared. So she went back in bed and she told Harry Hamlin about it. And he was quiet for a minute. And then she was like, all right, he thinks I'm nuts because he's just like not saying anything. And then he said, well, did I ever tell you about the woman who lived in this house before me? Red flag 1. Why have you never told this extremely interesting story that I'm about to tell you before this moment? This did not happen this way.
You're holding back your gold nuggets?
There's no way.
Right,
There's no way. So this is Lisa Rinna producing, being like, oh, just laying it out this way. Did I ever tell you?
Yeah, right.
No, you either knew this already or this is all a crock.
Yes.
Okay, so she says that Harry told her that the previous owner of the house was a woman named Nancy who really, really wanted the house badly. And Nancy happened to be gay. And her father told her that I will buy this house for you. He was like a wealthy man, but only if you get married to a man. Mm-hmm. And so Nancy had a friend who was a gay man, and they arranged to get married so that so her father would buy the house. And they lived in the house together with that man's partner. And so they're just, all cohabitating. And she really wanted to have a baby. And she and her, technically husband, her friend, slept together. And she got pregnant. And they were all raising the baby together as a family. But Nancy got sick and passed away in the house when the child was around 3 years old. So Lisa said this all made perfect sense to her, that, and this is kind of like the Joey Lawrence story you were telling. And it's also kind of classic a little bit.
Okay.
That the spirit wanted to be a mother so badly, went about it in an unconventional way and didn't really get to live out her dream. And now she has this family living in the house. So a spirit who wanted to be a mother,
yes,
the one from the Joey Lawrence story was pregnant. And now there's a kid around or kids around or whatever, and is kind of like acting motherly toward them or interacting with them in some way or whatever.
Yeah.
And it turned out that the room that Nancy died in, that they had turned into kind of like a hospice space for her, was the girls' playroom where they spent the most time. Lisa says that Delilah, when she's recording Celebrity Ghost Stories, is 10 now and still has imaginary friend playtime where she teaches school. And Lisa wonders if it could be Nancy. But Lisa has never seen her, like a form of her, since that day long ago, though she does continue to feel her presence. And she feels like she has a connection with her, and she's, happy for her to just be around. It's like not a big deal, because they both had and loved children. She feels no bad vibes from her or whatever.
Okay.
And so I was curious whether this was the house that I had seen so often on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So then I started Googling, and this is where I saw stuff where I was like, all right, I'm a little bit confused about this and the timeline and what it means for the story and everything. BravoTV.com, a good source, because it means that this was from, I think that Lisa was like talking about the timeline of the house on Watch What Happens Live. Apparently Harry had this house built. He lived in
Hamlin House?
Hamlin House.
Okay.
Hamlet. Lived in it with his first wife. And then his second wife didn't want to live in it. So they moved out and sold it. And they just said they moved out. And when they broke up, he moved back in.
Oh.
So what I can guess to make this story even be a thing is that they sold it to this woman and her friends, and that this all happened in that time. And then
this goes back that far, that Hamlin had home.
Hamlin built the home.
Hamlin built home.
Yes. So this couldn't have been that, he bought it from this woman and it predates Hamlin and his previous wives.
Wow. Okay.
This could only have happened, I'm saying.
It's only been Hamlin home until he sold it to this woman and her husband.
But there was nothing about in the Bravo TV. And look, the thing is, they just might not have gotten that specific. It doesn't really matter. But what Bravo TV
I need to see the deeds.
What Bravo TV said was that Harry and his first wife lived in it.
Yeah.
They broke up. Harry kept living in it, it seems like. Harry's second wife didn't want to move into it. It was too weird that it was his previous home with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So they went and lived somewhere else. It almost seemed to me that it was just that Harry retained ownership, but he and his wife lived somewhere else. And then when he broke up with that wife, he moved back into the home.
Right.
And then Lisa Rinna moved into the home with him.
Interesting.
In order for this story to work,
yes,
it would mean that he sold the house to this woman and then bought it back, which is possible.
Seems unlikely.
Yeah. And it didn't. Yeah, I don't know.
It seems unlikely.
It could be true, but I also know that Lisa loves a story, loves to drive story forward, will not say no to a gig. She said that on Beverly Hills all the time. She jokes about how she took those Depends commercials because she won't say no to a gig.
Imagine this pitcher of iced tea is really a gallon of your feces.
Right.
That was her line.
Yes. So I don't know. Look. It's not impossible that he could have sold it and then bought it back, but it also seems like he could have just retained ownership and moved right back in.
Yeah, no, I think it speaks far more to your theory. If you get a phone call and it's like, Lise, the producers for some show called Celebrity Ghost Stories are looking around. Mm-hmm. You got anything?
I think she will always say yes.
The answer is yes.
That was her whole thing. She said she always says yes.
Right. Well, look where it got her.
I know.
Is she alive or is she dead?
She's alive.
She's alive? Okay.
She's alive.
That would be more impactful if she were dead.
No, seems like she's doing fine.
Oh, okay. Well, look where it got her.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, well, who knows if that's true?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure Joey Lawrence's didn't happen. I think maybe...
I doubt Lisa Rinna's.
I think maybe something like a baby toy fell off a table and it made a sound.
Right. And I think that maybe...
And Joey Lawrence went, whoa.
I think that they had rats in the house at one point, and that was remarked upon on Beverly Hills, or mice. And
they had to hang their bags of popcorn from the ceiling.
Right. And so maybe there was a bump in the night that evolved into this story.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I believe Jerry Stiller.
Yeah.
Purely because I believed him telling the story and how meaningful it was to him.
And I believe Reginald VelJohnson.
Okay. So two believers and two phonies. Mm-hmm. I think that sounds about right. Oh, and Nick Hogan.
Oh, right. Doing a sideways.
Boy, what a shock. I can't believe
cannonball.
I forgot about Nick Hogan. It's never happened before, I'm sure.
I know.
All right, everybody. Celebrities.
There it is.
They're just like us. Mm-hmm. They lie.
Yeah.
They lie and shit for money.
Little liars.
So that they can get a little hot slice of pizza from the craft services table.
I'm telling you, it's a water bottle.
I think you're probably right. A water bottle or perhaps a mug.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. A can of mug.
A mug root beer. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
Yep.
We appreciate you all. Hope you had a good time. Hit up patreon.com/GTTUpod if you enjoyed the show. If you want to support us, if you want to get access to ad-free episodes of this show or the Netherworld Dispatch or the Discord. Follow at GTTUpod as well on all social media. Survive the Night
Yes.
It's out there.
Yes.
Check your local stores. It's definitely online. Get it from like Books A Million. Get it directly from Simon & Schuster or Inside Editions. Or go into a Target, close your eyes, and just get the one book.
Yeah.
Go into a Walmart. Took me... Should I tell my whole story?
Maybe a little bit of it.
I went to a Walmart. I don't go to Walmart often. It took me 3 tries.
Yeah.
Before 3 different Walmart employees, for one of them to know where the books were.
Yeah.
and then it wasn't there. So
what can you do?
But it's fun. So get it. Survive the night.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you all. Appreciate you all. We'll be back next week. Who knows for what? But until that time comes, we must travel.
Back to the netherworld go we. And that netherworld is Walmart.
It is. I kind of feel like I feel like professionally I maybe shouldn't tell that story or something, but it was very funny to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would. You can't bat an eye at that. That happened.
It's fine.
No one knew where the books were at Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
It was very funny. One guy literally went, I think if you go over that way, he like pointed off in the distance. I was like, I think you're just trying to get me away from you.
Right.
And then I went over there and there were no books.
Yeah.
It was the gardening section.
Wasteland.
How dare you? I was lost. I had to stay the night.
I know.
In the camping section.
Like that movie where Natalie Portman stays the night in, I think, a Walmart or something that's supposed to be like a Walmart. And I think she gives birth there.
Thor?
Yeah. Okay.
I almost died. Just now. This could have been it. That could have been a wrap.
Oh my God.